cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah. I Stephen Marley, Bless FM radio, play good tune.
Greetings, and welcome back to the Sista Lel show after that little advert break. And now we're going to go into a bit of reasoning with Rasta Pasta. And we will be talking about things that touch us all. So, for example, unity. We're going to start there. So, what do we mean when we're really saying unity? For example, we're told across many scriptures that you must love your neighbour as yourself. But what does this really mean? What does it really look like? Does it really mean your immediate neighbour, or is it everyone that is around you who is a stranger to you, like a non-family or extended family member, would therefore become your neighbour? So any stranger within your vicinity. Therefore, how do you interact with that neighbour? Do you treat them as you treat yourself, or how you would like to be treated? So what, in your opinion, Rasta Pasta, do you say when it comes to what is this unity? What do we really mean? Are we seeing these aspects within the community right here in London? Or are we seeing it in other communities but not reflected in our own? What is it?
I don't know. Well, it can go back to segregation. I say greetings to all first before I start the thing. Greetings to all. Greetings to each and every one in the name of the Most High, the Almighty, the Most High Creator. And blessed to one those greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I and Empress Meninai. Yes. Well, as I said, going back to the thing called segregation, when we were segregated, we had unity. That's how I see it. Yeah. All I can do is give my opinion. I'm not going to say, before we even start, I'm not going to say I'm always right. I'm just going to give my opinion of things according to my journey, according to the flesh. Yeah, man. So it's like when there was segregation, there was unity. And we had no choice but to unite, because all we had was ourselves. And then since this segregation thing fell apart, deliberately it was designed to fall apart because we were striving. And because we were striving, there's other people who wasn't doing so well and they never like it. So then they started to intermix and start getting involved because they wanted to infiltrate the thing. They want to make sure, say, it's not going to run the way we want it to run. And from this segregation thing come up, and then it stopped, it changed, and now there's no segregation. We start mixing with other people. I'm not saying, all right, then, you must have mixed with who you must have mixed with. It's up to who you want to choose. But according to scriptures and things, with you man one-on-one to stick to them own, according to scriptures and things. So all these people that have unity, it seems to me it's like the Indian man them stick together, the Chinese man them stick together, the Greek man and the Turkish, all of them stick together, them have them unity. You know what I mean? But we know some of we are war against each other, right? Crab in a barrel situation, you know. And then there is some of us who was open up to the time that we are in now and realize unity is a must. You know what I mean? Which we don't have no choice. It's heading that way. The energy is changing. And if you want to fight against it, you fight against it. You get left behind or you'll stay out the door. But those who are going out there with that positive consciousness will actually buck up on people who are unifying themselves right now as we speak. You know what I mean? So the unity is getting there now than ever before. People might not see it, but you have eyes to see, will see. Say, yeah, man, the unity is definitely coming together, you know what I mean, for us to move forward as a race of people. Yeah.
So you're saying it's coming back full circle, really, as to how we were in the original format of our culture. So we were unified, especially when we have all of the archives of when we first came here. and how we operated as a group. We hadn't lost sense of our black consciousness, global black consciousness. So we had an understanding of what that extended family, what our culture is back home. So it's not just you in a little island, it's you as part of a tree, which is quite different to the reflection that we have now, because the experiences that I've had myself, or that I've seen in the Caribbean or in other cultures from the diaspora, is that in their original way, they are very together. There's a lot of sharing. Yes, there may be pockets full of people who are not operating like that, but it's kind of integral to the culture there, which is something we seem to have been lost. But yes, you're right. I do agree that it is coming back around into more unity. Now, wouldn't you say that to be able to fully achieve this unity, we need to learn to love ourselves first, love and accept and appreciate ourselves first, so that we can love, accept and appreciate others?
We love and appreciate ourselves already. A long time. You know what I mean? It's just other people don't love and appreciate us. You know what I mean? Some. And that's what we are fighting against, you understand? And for make them know, say the world not run like that. You know what I mean? Your world, which we otherwise as Babylon or Egypt, it run like that. But for the world, it not run like that. You know what I mean? So it was always united from the beginning. It's just people come with their own doctrine, their own teaching, and their own religious concept, which cause division, because it's not educating us. It's educating other people to keep up with us, to be level with us. Instead of making us excel, there's a glass ceiling put up in the educational system that we can't go through up to a certain point. You know, you have to go through a whole heap of the educational system before you can get through this glass ceiling. And that glass ceiling is designed so that all the other people can be equal, or do better than we, because it's not our knowledge that we've been taught. And this is Babylon. People out there need to get this right. You know, them looking at the black people and stereotyping them and say, oh, with this or with that. But if we was to take you and bring you into the jungle and say to you, yo, you got to learn this, learn that, and you come from the city wearing suit and tie, and we just throw you into the jungle, you ain't going to know what to do. You know what I mean? And it's going to be very hard for you to adapt to that, because it's not your natural way of living. It's not your natural way of living. So you're not in your natural environment. So you're going to get sunburn. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're going to get food poisoning. You're going to go through all because your body ain't used to that thing. And then after a while of many years of this and that, you get used to it. Then your children are born, and your children are born right into this jungle, and they're already just automatically just adapt. And that's what happened to us. You know what I mean? We was put into this jungle, given the wrong food, given the wrong education, and then at the end of the day, they want to know why we are the way we are.
Yeah, because integration does not mean assimilation in any way. So you can integrate with people, but not to lose who you are. We saw that example from His Majesty when he was able to unite tradition with modernization and open up to the West. And he never lost sight of who he was and his mission. Now, I think this, I've said it once before, I think this is a fantastic example for all of us to follow, to be able to treat other people with mutual respect and show kindness. And, you know, how would you feel if you were, for example, I'll give you a little scenario today. I was walking to transport, and along the way, I saw a receipt fall out of this young lady's bag. It was a sister, and she was trying to get something out of her handbag, and the receipt dropped out. I saw this. Many people were walking past her. I picked up the receipt and went and, you know, said, "Hey, sis," caught up with her, said, "Hey, sis, there's your receipt." Now, wouldn't you like, just generally, for us all to be treating each other with a degree of kindness or consideration? Kindness is like a smile. It goes a long way. It creates a ripple within the energy field. So showing kindness is a part of love. Showing care is a part of love. Being thoughtful to others is a part of love. Watching how you speak and behave with others is also
but you see, love is your that is what you are.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You are love. You are the essence, your core, your what you call your nucleus, your atom is you. Your divine self is love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have a divine being, what is just pure love, then you take that divine being and you put that divine being in a flesh. That divine being got no idea how to use.
Yeah.
And then you put that flesh into a world which that being got no idea how this world run. So we have to learn from scratch. We got to learn how to use the hands, you know, to use the foot, how to walk, how to crawl. All these things we got to learn from scratch. You know what I mean? But our original being as we are is love. You can't go around that. You understand? That's what you are. If you refuse to be that, then you're fighting against what you are created to be, that which is love. You don't want to be that. You want to be war. You want to be a warmonger. You want to be a junkie. You want to be a thief. Sometimes these things are experience, but you got to understand, say, everything in life is an experience. But how long are you going to stay experiencing this thing? Are you going to stay stuck in this experience? Or are you going to wake up and experience something else and put that one aside? You know what I mean? And that's how it is. So we are love. But sometimes you have some soldiers, like look at Yeshua, according to the scriptures, this man was a loving being. But at the same time, he was a militant being.
Yeah, because he's still human. He had a focus and knew exactly the right way, and he had a message to deliver.
And that the root core of his message is love.
Yeah.
Love thy neighbor as thyself. And so going back to the first question you're asking is, your neighbor could be anybody. You understand? The person next to you, the person you're standing up to next to at the bus stop, your fellow man or woman. Yeah, you must love your neighbor as yourself. Otherwise, when they say you must love your neighbor as yourself, you have to kind of analyze that, because if you're going to love your neighbor as yourself, you're going to make sure your neighbor have food, drink, electric, water, everything. And that means that you end up with nothing. You know what I mean? Or you have to struggle because you have to support your neighbor. It don't go like that. You know what I mean? You just have to treat your neighbor, or you want your neighbor to treat you.
Yes.
That's it. Simple. You know what I mean? You can love people and give them this and give them that and give them so much till they end up not doing nothing because you spoil them.
Yeah, because it's not about material gain. It's about doing things in the spirit, showing kindness, not through monetary. It's not a showcase. It's a vibration. It's how your energy lies with somebody else. It's not about trying to buy somebody like a flashy, I don't know, perfume or a flashy pair of shoes, or this person needs this, let me go out to Harrods. No, it's not about that. It's about being, when they say it's the little things in life that are important. This is how you should treat other people. It's the little things that giving someone a card for something they've done, helping an old lady down the road, picking up something for, it's not that you have to, it's not about being a mug, but it's about being kind to people where it's appropriate.
All right. Some people go out there and do kindness for people, but they have a motive behind it. You know what I mean? It makes them feel good, and it makes them be able to turn around and say, I did this and I did that and I did this, and I've helped all the homeless and I've fed all the poor. I've done a whole heap of good things on the earth. In your eyes.
Well, you see, your heart will always be measured. So it is within the person that their conscience will either be clear or not clear.
There's a lot of people out there that do good things. You know what I mean? It's love thy neighbors as themselves, and then they do good things, and you've got a lot of people that go out there and do projects and this and that for their people. And they really work hard to put their life on their time on the line for the love of their neighbor, their brethren, their brother man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you also got to realize you also have people that need you.
Yeah.
You also have family. You know what I mean? Some of you. So when you're loving thy neighbor as thyself, and when you're going out there doing a whole heap of good and thing, you have to also realize that your family needs you too. So don't forget them. Go out there, do a world of good, and thinking, yeah, I'm doing this for God, I'm doing that for God, them are all right. No, you have to also look after them too. So you can't really put the people them outside of yourself or outside of your family before your family.
Yeah, because it's as they say, charity begins at home.
Yeah, well, make charity come now. Make charity begin at home. And the charity asleep with the church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The church girlfriend named Charity. You know what I mean? And when you're ready, you got beg charity gear. Say, hey, come now. You can give something still, you know, but you have to do something for it. That's charity. Charity.
Yeah, but that's not really. That's just somebody doing something for a reason. So there's a motivation behind what they're doing, as you were saying earlier. And the truth always comes out. You can't stop the sun from shining. So regardless of what you're doing, if it's something that's not good, it will come out, and the sun will shine on it. Simple as that. You can't hide when you've treated people badly, because that's a vibration, that energy is rippled across. Yeah?
I don't know why it does that. Yeah. Say that again.
So I'm saying, you know, it's you know, we do have some people who, when they do something for you, it's because they have a motive. There is something that they feel that they can gain from you by treating you in a particular way, which you might interpret as kindness or generosity towards you. However, I was saying that even though they're not coming from a clean heart or a clean-minded position, this cannot be hidden. It will always come out. Truth will always come to the forefront, regardless of what.
It does. You have some people that take people's kindness for granted. Yeah.
As I say, kindness for weakness.
You have some people out there that want to know you because they just want to climb up on your back to get somewhere, you know, climb up on your shoulder because they need to be where you are. So they'll befriend you and want to so-called be your friend, but they're not your friend. They are your frenemy, and they just use you to get where they want to get to, and they feel so yeah, that's it, them safe. But what they don't realize, you know what I mean, what you put out will come back to you.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's positive or negative, and some people treat people what you call snidey, some sneaky. What do they call them? Ginal.
Yeah, yes, that's the word, Ginal.
Yeah, Ginal, yeah. But their time will come because, you know what I mean, what they do to you will be done to them.
Yeah.
Just a simple thing. There's nothing they can say or do about that. That is how it is.
Absolutely. Because some people like to call it karma. You know, it's going to come back to you if you don't do things in the right way towards someone, or you have an alternative motive towards an individual. You know, this will always come out. So if you're going to do something for someone, it's always to do it from a clean heart, just out of being a genuine person to the other, because you'll find that good follows good. So the more good you do, the more good that will follow you. The more bad you do, that ripple will come right back, and the more bad that will follow you. So it's always better to try to maintain that balance of peace and harmony to all others outside of yourself. Sometimes you might have a trying day, but you might have a trying day, but it's about trying to learn to control those emotions. Because emotions are just moments in time.
Wow, you control emotions.
Yeah, some people have got it down to a fine art.
Some people, yeah, wisdom. Wisdom teaches you how to control your emotions. Experience teaches you how to control your emotions. And sometimes when you have a vision and you need to get somewhere in life, or you need to get to a certain point or accomplish certain things, you may have to control your emotions so that you can get there. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, you have wolves in sheep clothing, you have frenemies, And you have people that come to you and go and let them are your brethren and your sistren. But they're not really your brethren and your sistren. They just want you to get them where they need to be, and then they're off again. So this is the part of the things what kind of spoils the unity. When I say spoil the unity, it makes you think, so where is the unity? Where is the love?
Because in those instances, it's a one-track sharing. Again, like we were saying, it's about doing something for a motive rather than a genuine love for something. And, you know, not sharing. So you want to gain, but you don't want to offer. So it's like you're taking, but you're not giving.
Well...
And for some people, their plate is rather full on the scales, while the other end of the scale is being emptied because they're just taking off the other plate. Yes, you know, all that weight can make it a bit heavy for the individual. If you don't have the tools or the know-how in the very beginning, you become overwhelmed. It's a little bit like stealing. Ooh. When you steal something, whether it's time or anything else from someone else, that will be taken back from you.
Yeah, when you look at life, a lot of young people don't realise that when you get older and you look back at life, you're going to realise you don't really get away with nothing.
No.
That you've done wrong, unjustified, you know. If you've done something and it's unjust, you will realise in the end that you have to, you know what I mean, sort it out somehow. You know what I mean? Even the way we treat our children, the way we treat our parents, with the way we treat our brethren, them. There will come a point in time where you will have to deal with certain things, how you deal with them, especially when they're gone. Or you say, oh, you hear so-and-so passed away. Oh, I remember so-and-so. I owed him about 5 bills, you know, and I didn't give him the money. Do you feel bad? Do you feel any remorse that you didn't give him that money that could have helped him and his family and his children? But the guy's passed away. Some people don't even consider those things. You know what I mean? So the unity thing, and the love thing, I mean, now is a time when everything's coming together anyway. Yeah, times have changed, generations have changed. A lot of children has come into the equation. You have the crystal children and the star children and all different kind of things that go on upon the earth, which is lifting up that love vibration. You know, so when we're talking about love and unity, are we talking about love and unity amongst our own people, or are we talking about love and unity amongst all people?
Well, I think you have to have, like I was saying earlier, I think you have to learn how to love yourself. And then once you are right within yourself, you can love all, you can be the reflection of what the Most High is, which is pure love. So it would mean that you don't just, you only love, because love, it doesn't just love their own love, goes through to everybody. So you'll be able, as we were saying earlier, about integrating but still be like the most like His Majesty did. So he was, because of love, he was able to integrate and also open up his whole country into into trading with westernization and doing roads and things like this. And it's about balance, because if you are love, you can love all, but not at the expense of your own.
That's true. That's true. You got this other one want to say them love. You're gonna turn around and say, boy, I love all people, black, white, this and that. And then you're gonna say, you're gonna put the black man before the white man before the black man. They're gonna say, no, all is equal. I disagree with that. I don't think we're all equal.
No, we're not all equal.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But we all work together, like the palm of a hand.
Yeah.
You have 4 fingers and a thumb, but they're all not equal.
No, it's a little bit like flowers. You know, for example, you've got different types of flowers. They have their own beauty. They have different needs, and they're different species, but they're all flowers.
Yeah, but I use the hand as a different reference, because there's certain things that you can do with your little finger that you can't do with your next finger.
Yeah.
There's certain, without the thumb, the hand is hard to use.
Yeah,
you cannot. It's hard to work the hand without the thumb. You know what I mean? And when you're signing a signature, you have a signature, the finger that you use to hold a pen. Every finger, you have whatever finger now, what they call with the band finger, where you put your wedding ring finger in it. But every finger does its own job.
Yeah, so even though every finger does its own job, it's about each finger recognizing that there is importance in the other fingers and all are equal to the other because they all need to be functioning as one hand.
All right. I say none of them are equal. All the fingers have a different option.
Yeah, they've got different functions.
But they cannot function without the palm of the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regardless of what, they're all there, they're all working, they're all individuals, but they all need the hand, and it's the hand that joins them together. And the hand is what you call the palm, or which is love. And that's what joins the fingers together. So if you use the palm of the hand as an expression of love or divinity, and then you have these stems, what stretches out from it, you know, so well, without the palm of the hand, you cannot unite these things. These fingers can't stand together. They cannot unite. They cannot work without that divine love, which is otherwise the palm of the hand. So I say each finger is an individual, just like each race is an individual. They are not the same. They do not serve the same purpose.
True.
Yeah? But they all can function together with the palm of the hand to create a hand. A finger is not a hand, you know.
Yeah.
A palm is not a hand.
Well, you see the energy of the nature that's running through the planet.
Yeah.
The energy is running through all living things. So all members of those hands have that energy running through them.
Yeah.
So it's if a person doesn't want to recognize that energy and refuses to get in line with that energy, you'll find that there is confusion.
All right. Yes and no. I would say confusion.
Yeah.
I'd say a separation. But not confusion, because the atheist man, the atheist, he not believing in no God. But he will go to work 9 to 5, do his job, go on holiday, love his wife and his children.
And when he gets licked down by a car, he'll say, "Oh God."
No, his wife said that when it comes to bedtime. You see what I'm saying? But they don't believe in a God. You know what I mean? So you have to look at the logic of all of these things. And these same people who don't believe in God, they will cry, "Oh my God, what will I do? Oh God, what is this?" But they're calling on the name of something that you don't believe in, but you don't really realize that you do use that term God.
So in the deepest part of the person's core, they do have a belief.
They have a belief. They have a belief system. You know what I mean? Some people believe in nature, which is the creation, which is another way of saying God. You know what I mean? Because God is in every living thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when I'm crying out to God, what are you really crying out to? You know what I mean? Are you crying out to one being, or are you crying out to energy that sustains our soul, that is in our soul? You know what I mean? Which is basically, as I said, love. But we grow, and we thing is, we have a thing which is a good thing and a bad thing. Which this is where the love changes. We have a thing called free will. And this free will gives us the right to do wrong. All right, because it's free will. So you can do bad, you can do wrong. It's up to you. According to like the Bible and them thing there, angels don't have no free will. Right? I mean, like the angels of the Most High. Their will is to love and protect us, or love and serve the Most High. They cannot really go on with any evil thing by their design. They're not designed to do evil. You understand? But then there's other creations that is designed to do evil, but they can't do good. No matter how they try, because it's not in them. You know what I mean? But we have a free will where we can choose to do right or wrong, good or evil. So that means no matter what happens now, we are in charge of our own judgment, because we made the decisions to do good or bad. And things that we have to pay the consequences for it, because we made that decision.
Well, you see, we all have the voices. We all have either ourselves talking to ourselves or messages.
You talk to yourself.
I think we all do in our mind's eye. So, you know, it's...
You send yourself texts and things.
Yeah, that as well. So, so it's within the mind's eye now, and you can hear like you're going to go and thieve something, but you can hear some, no, you shouldn't do it, you know, you shouldn't do it, you know, shouldn't do it. But you choose to ignore that. You break into someone's house. Before you get there, something's niggling in the back of your head, but you refuse to. You do some fraud. You take something from somebody's house that's your bona fide friend and think it's all right.
No, man. Well, see, as I said, when you get older in life and you look back at the thing, because the older you get is the wiser you get. And you also slow down and you can see the real value of life and realize to yourself, you know what? You've done a lot of wrong things and you've done a lot of bad things, but do you have the chance to put it right?
Yeah.
And if you have the chance to put it right, do you want to put it right? When do you want to put it right? Do you think you have time to put it right?
That's if it's in the thought process of the individual, because if they haven't actually started to do any form of self-reflection, they will be ignoring all of those things. So I think it goes back again to saying, you know, you have to learn to love yourself, because if you love yourself, you wouldn't want somebody doing certain things to you. So therefore, you shouldn't really pass on that, like do it to others. You know, some people will do something or talk to somebody in a certain way, but they don't like it if it's done to themselves.
Yeah, you get people like that. You know what I mean? You get a lot of people like that. But even we do the same thing. Sometimes we talk to people a certain way, but if that person talked to us the same way, we don't like it. But we don't notice that we do the same thing. You know what I mean? But as I said, where we're heading for now, it's time to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because things have changed. You know what I mean? Things have changed, and the younger generation that's coming up now, they're coming up with some wisdom, but they come up in a world where all the information is available to them.
Yeah, because they're quite fortunate to have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's removed a degree of innocence and naivety from our youths. However, I think in the society that we're in, it's really important that they are equipped with that information. They do start to learn the truth, rather than in generations before them, we had to wait years before we had access to this information. Think about your parents or your parents' parents, how they were denied, you know, correct information.
Yeah, well, if you was giving them then even when we had the correct information, we started to build places like Black Wall Street. And we start, you know what I mean, we start build up things when we had the correct information. And obviously that was unity. And thing, but when we start build up these things, you have other people come and tear it down and bomb it. You see what I'm saying? So we would have, as a race of people, would have been very successful if it was left to do our own thing.
The thing is, we were very successful within our ancient history. We were very successful, and we've had pockets throughout history where we've seen great success and great movements, but it's just that we haven't had a forward move on a large scale that affects us, that affects the black consciousness globally, in order to really strive for a better place. So we haven't bent the energy.
We've done it. We've done it all. We've done. I remember look at the great structures that is all over the planet, that is been there for centuries. That is there. That is the stamp on the earth to make our people remember who they are and what they have contributed to the earth. And if there any other race on the planet that's contributed anything close to it, then cool. But because of what our ancestors have created in the past, it coming like, yo, if these people created all of these things, you know, if you give them the option to do what they want to do, they will create this again.
But of course,
or something similar. And we can't keep up with that.
No, because the thing is, if you have had a taste of power and you like that position, and it is extremely beneficial for you because you have a vibration of absorption, you're not really going to want to let go of any of those structures, because it means you have power. It's only those that have seen what life really is about and understand life that have started to shift in other cultures and other nations from that kind of old, stale vibration of upmanship.
How you mean?
It's deluded power, isn't it? Because it's not really power. If you are not the supplier, you are the buyer.
I don't know about supplying and buying. You know, all I know about is that great things was built, great things what we've achieved, and we would always keep on achieving if we wasn't stopped, or if we wasn't put in the position that we was put in, we would have achieved more. Because remember, look at this then, yeah. Marcus Garvey come and he met the Black Star Liner. Marcus Garvey was sold out by his own people. Now, if he wasn't sold out by his own people and his own people supported him and they allowed that Black Star Liner to sell, anyhow that Black Star Liner went to Africa, it's going to come back fully loaded. When it come back fully loaded and it goes back to Africa again, it's going to be fully loaded with American black people going back home. So in the space of 10 years, all the people who are being oppressed in America, they will go or they will start importing and trading from Africa. Either way, the platform was set for us to accomplish great things.
Yeah.
And it was pushed aside.
But it was blocked.
No, it's sold out, man. When I man them sell him out.
Yeah.
You know, because Edward Hoover, I will name, him employed the first black CIA agent with Marcus Garvey in a Marcus Garvey camp. So when you look at the fight down that he get, if he didn't get the fight down and if that ship did sell, it would have been a historical event.
So there you go. You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things.
Those people who, again, karma, those people who do sell their souls for a little bit of chump change will always get their, their comeuppance for doing that. It will always happen. So they might have the little couple of pounds now, but a couple of years down the line, all of that's gone and they'll always have to be in this compromising position.
Not always. It depends, as I say. Everybody gets a chance in life to make it. The windows of opportunity or the doors of opportunity always opens for everyone. And if you miss it, it will come back again. It always does. All you got to do is make sure you're ready and equipped with the tools so that when that door comes, you know, it's like a wheel of fortune when they spin the wheel. That one day it's going to hit on your wheel, on your door, and you best make sure you got the tools. For example, somebody wants, I want to be a great DJ and I want to go and play all over the world and this and that, but can you DJ? Nope. Have you got any tunes? Nope. Have you got CD players? Nope.
But that's about each person. Like I'm saying, self-love, you have to develop your tools, and obviously you can't click your fingers with a wand and get what you need. But
when you get the tools, now you've got the tools. You've got your CD players, you've got your CDs, you've got your laptop, you've got everything. You've done your practicing with the tune. Now you are ready, so that when that door comes, you can just walk straight through it and you are prepared. It's like somebody going to battle. You know how to use a sword. You know how to put on your armor. Why wait till you go into battle? Life itself is a battle. So you're supposed to be prepared anyway. So
like it says, as you were talking scriptural things, across many scriptures it talks about putting on your armor before you go out there in all situations.
Your armor of God.
Yeah, in all situations.
All right. The armor of, according to the Bible, yeah, the armor of God it says it in there, but from my
also in the Quran.
Yeah, right. Well, the armor of God, from my experience, yeah, the armor of God is a real thing. Yeah, so when they say you must put on your armor of God, you really do have an armor, but it's spiritual. You understand? You can only feel it come on when you're on the right, when you're in tune or have a sound mind, which the book tells you. You must have a sound mind. You have a clean and pure heart. You understand? Who have not lifted up his soul unto vanity. You understand? You have to have that sound mind, and then everything else will fall into place. That's how it goes, you know.
Yeah, it's about clarity in your will, because we're all vibration, aren't we? We're energy.
Vibration?
Yeah.
Are you a vibration?
I have a vibration, yes, definitely.
Okay. Energy.
I think we all do. Yeah, we've all got energy. And then energy vibrates.
We are energy. We are all energy, life force,
Yeah.
energy. You know, call it vibration, but everything is energy. Everything is sound.
Yeah.
Vibration. In the beginning was the word, and they said the word was God. But you can't have a word without sound. So the sound comes before the word,
But you could have a vibration.
which you have to make the vibration before the word come.
Yeah.
You understand? So first you got to go O P Q I S. You have to make that tone, that vibration, and that's another way they built the pyramids. Vibration. They use vibration to lift the rocks and put them into place and fit them into place, and they're all gelled into place. All of these was done by vibrations and sounds.
But remember, they would have mastered their consciousness within their spirit, so they would have been at a point where you hear stories of people who are Buddhists up in the mountains, and the American Indians, how they talk about things as well. And also in many ancient texts, the power of the mind is great once it's been cultivated.
Cultivated or tamed?
Cultivated.
Cultivated.
Yeah.
What do you mean cultivated?
Because you need to re-educate yourself. You need to be many of us have been misinformed. Some people have the knowledge of many of the mystery schools from the ancient kingdoms, and some people are trying to develop themselves in this. Some people are yet to discover this and realize what was going on and start to walk our traditional ways. When you have cultivated this and it's been developed, you get to a point where you are able to manifest things in a different level. Remember, they were able to make pyramids. Their vibration was far higher.
Yeah, everything was different then. Even the air, the water, everything was different. You know what I mean? So obviously you're going to function different. It's like when you go back home, as soon as you get off the plane, your energy is different.
Yeah.
As soon as you eat the food, your energy is different. And then you start get fine-tuned and thing. And then when you come back here and you get off the plane, your energy is totally, you just know what you've walked into.
Yeah, because we're living in a plastic society. This is a GMO world.
Yeah,
when
so
you
you know
go
that.
home, you are going into an environment that it is nature.
It's your
and
natural
pure,
environment.
Yes.
It's close enough to your natural environment.
Yes.
At least you got natural food there that you can eat. The air is more natural.
You've
It's
got
near
the
the
sun.
sea. You've got the sun, which we actually need to survive as well. So we're in our natural environment and we're going to function good. And this is why you find a lot of Europeans always going on holiday to charge up themselves.
Yes.
Every minute they're on holiday.
Yeah, they're
I'm not
constantly
surprised why they're getting
earthing.
all these good jobs and they're focused and they're getting things done and then, man. And when they get a little bit of stress, boom, on a plane, gone.
Yeah. On a beach, earthing.
Yeah, and just deal with it and charge up themselves. You know what I mean? They got that privilege there, but some of you don't have that privilege and you're going to have to batter through this concrete jungle to find yourself. You know what I mean? But yeah, as I said, enough of us all come on this earth with this gift and this talent. You know what I mean? And you go through life picking it up and remembering how good you are. So sometimes you might be good at painting, you might be good at drawing, but you must have been doing this before. You understand? Some people play instruments and they've never been to a class in their life. They just pick up the instrument and learn how to play it.
Those are their natural gifts.
Right, and some people pick up a pen and become an artist. They've never been to no art school. No one ever taught them how to draw. They just see it and they know how to do it. So how did they know these things? These things are already inbuilt in them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like everything is already built in us, like the scriptures say, that prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemy. So I'm saying like, that shows me there's a table there that's been prepared with everything that I need. But my enemies are present and they ain't going to want me to take everything I need, but the table is prepared. You know what I mean? It's for me to just go to that table and get it. But I have to also be aware of my enemy. You understand? So that Psalms there shows you, yeah, man, everything is there for you. Anything you want, you can get, whether good or bad. You know what I mean?
I think it's about having a clean heart and a clean mind. Once your heart is clean and your mind is clean with your intent, then yes, you will get it. But if you don't have that balance of a clean heart and a clean mind, I don't think you'll get exactly
we could go
what
on the
you want.
concept. What would you classify as a clean heart? Let's both start with the clean heart and then the clean hands. What would you start off with? The clean hands. What are the clean hands? What was on it? Because we say these
Clean
things in the
heart, clean
scriptures.
mind, not
So what's a clean hand then? How would we, supposing now you have a race of people now that come and say, I hear he said he have a clean hand and a pure heart. What does it mean? How do I clean my heart? I wash my hands every day.
Yeah.
Yes, my hands are clean. I'm a Muslim. I roll up my hands to my sleeve. You know what I mean? And I clean. So my hands.
It's about how you think. So if you're thinking, if you're going for something with a slyness in your thought, with your ego in your thought, with a motive there in your thought, instead of it being a pure thought of goodness, and not to take advantage of something in any way, shape or form, but you just genuinely are going for that particular thing.
Is that what you're saying? It's a clean hand or clean heart you're talking about?
That's a clean heart.
You're going for a particular thing?
No, I'm just saying clean heart.
Yeah, what's a clean heart though? What is
So clean heart is being free of like disagreeable energies. So being like, you know, wanting to do, if you want to do something for someone, or you are, say you want to do a project, or you want to go do it without thinking, what can I get out of this? How can I manipulate this person? So if I do this for so-and-so, I'm going to get that. But that's not a clean heart. That's being shady.
Yeah, that's another way of putting it. Another way of looking at a clean heart is if one look into themselves and judge yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's the beginning of checking your heart if you're clean. Judge yourself how you will judge our next man or woman.
That's self-love.
Yes. Yeah, so, you know what I mean, as it says, love thy neighbour as thyself, but you also have to judge yourself too. The Bible says don't judge, but yes, you have to judge yourself, because when the time comes, you are go through the judgment. So judge yourself and say, have I been a good person? Say, yeah, man, I've been a good person.
But have you
really, what wrong things have you done?
Or said to someone.
Yeah. That's the first thing. We could clean up the art. So first of all, we start off with the basic thing of what wrong things or bad things have we said to anybody that has really offended them or upset them. Have we said some bad words to anybody in the past that have upset them? You know what I mean? Have we made violence towards anybody?
I don't think it just is about how violent you can be. I think violence is not just physical. It can be.
You can be violent with your words.
Yes.
So even with, as I said, with the clean art thing, clean art is you have to be prepared that if you've done something wrong, it wouldn't be a problem to say sorry.
Yeah.
You understand? If you've done something wrong to someone, you know what I mean, and say you wouldn't want them to do it to you, then you should apologize. Yeah, because that's the first part and thing, you know what I mean?
Well, it's recognizing
that
how that other person might feel with your delivery.
Yes, otherwise, how would you feel if that person done that to you? Enough of us go through life and say things and do things to people, but don't check to yourself, would you want someone to do that to you? Would you want someone to say that? What would you do if someone said that to you? What would you do if someone called you that? You know what I mean? What would you do if somebody come and slap you in the face because they got more muscles than you, or they're a man?
Or even it could be somebody comes up to you and starts projecting what they think you should be doing. Oh, you need to do this better. And you don't know the person from Adam.
Yeah.
And yet they come up and those comments may, depending on the individual, bend their energy in the wrong way and have a very negative effect.
Clean art is a deep thing, you know, because we'd be surprised the amount of people that we offended in our journey in life. True, we're trying to show them the truth, our truth.
But your truth is your projection onto them. It doesn't necessarily mean it's their truth, nor is it necessarily their mission. I mean, when you're telling somebody what their truth should be, then there's actually something I'd like to share on that particular note. So when you are telling somebody about the truth you feel it should be in their lives, what in actual fact you are doing is this, and it's a statement that was passed to me by a brethren, and it's by a Dr. Wade W. Knowles, and it's called, this is how it goes. It says, the essence of power in one respect is the ability to define somebody else's reality and have them live according to that definition as though it were a definition of their own choosing. That's what projecting onto others is. So you're projecting something that you feel that individual, it could be something simple like, you should be wearing them kind of shoes, you know. You should be doing this with your, say you've got a table in a craft fair, community craft fair. Somebody comes and starts telling you what you... Who told the individual that you didn't get the messages from the Most High to do so? Your ancestors didn't tell you to do so. So it's assuming authority over other people and dictating to them what you feel they should be doing. When this is adult to adult. You shouldn't really be doing that because you don't know what messages they've received and you're doing an interference. Unless the individual has come to you and asked you, what should I do about this, or can I get your advice on this or that? Why would you be going and saying you've got to do this and you've got to do that, especially to a stranger?
But a lot of religious people do that, and they force their religious belief on people. Oh, you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And Jesus is the only way, and Muhammad is the only way, and everybody said the only way. And who are they to turn around and tell you that you must follow them?
It's the same thing. It is actually the same thing. Projecting your idea of your reality onto somebody else and expecting them to jump up and follow it. Follow it to where they've got the Most High to guide them.
Well, it's your experience, you understand? It's, as I said, you don't have to follow them. If you choose to follow them, then boy, you know what I mean? It's up to you. But what we're going back to the clean and the pure art. As I was saying before, there's a lot of things that we've done or that we do to people that has offended them. So the first thing is like, it sounds kind of religious kind of thing, but it's not religious. It's just something that you have to do, especially if you know you've done a wrong thing to somebody. You have to say sorry, or you have to also forgive as well when people do a wrong thing to you, because that's another thing. You have to, there's something with the clean art thing. You have to learn how to forgive your fellow man and fellow woman. You have to. For example, now a woman could be abused by a man years ago when she was younger, and then all her life she's carried that burden in the back of her mind. What man has done to her.
Yeah, you know, and so she responds to every man in the incorrect way.
Or most of them. Yeah, so what she don't realize, when you let it go, when you say, you know what, it sounds hard, you know, and it sounds, some people say, I would never forgive the guy that done me this, and I would never forgive the guy that done me that. All right, there is some things, you know, you have to kind of like really think about if you should forgive them or not. But I personally, if I can forgive them, I forgive them. You know what I mean? Because I know the consequences of not forgiving.
Yeah, because
so
when you don't...
it doesn't mean you must be an idiot. Because if somebody does something wrong to you, and you can forgive them in your heart to say, yo, if I see that person on the street again, I'm going to be cool because I haven't got nothing in me. Because I'm the one that's carrying all of the negative thing. If I don't forgive them, I'm the one that's carrying it. When you see them on the street... that boy there, don't burn them boy there. And because you're carrying it, you're the one that's carrying it.
And that energy will end up chewing you up and might manifest as an illness. And
it also affects you from rising spiritually, because you have to have a clean heart to get to a certain level. There's a saying that you can't go to Zion with a carnal mind. And we've always heard that. Yeah, but people don't seem to understand or understand the seriousness of this carnal mind thing. You can't go to Zion with a carnal mind.
No.
You can't. So you have to know to yourself, so well, if that's the case, you have to get rid of all of the negative things that you have done to people. Be real. You know what I mean? Be the judge of yourself. You know what
I mean,
mean?
you can, if you felt that you've done something to an individual or you've offended them in some particular way, it's best to try and talk to the individual and say, look, I want to hold my hands up. I behaved in a particular way to you, which I know could have been offensive. I just want to know, were you offended? Were you not? Are you okay? And I apologise for any kind of behaviour.
Make we start in the home.
it?
The only way, because the way how it looks, some people might turn around and say, that's some soft business. Forgive what? Forgive the slavery man, then forgive this, forgive that.
Yeah,
But
because you need to release the karma.
all right, then. It's like this, then. You're in a relationship with someone and you become one flesh. But before you can become one flesh, there's a lot of things that you've hidden in the closet which you have to share with each other and get it out of the way to gain the trust. You know what I mean? And once you've gained that trust, then it becomes honesty. You know what I mean? And with honesty, that means any question that is asked, you are expected to tell the truth. So in you telling this truth, you may be asked a question that you've been hiding something under the carpet. But because you have to have this clean heart and you are one with this person, it's best if you tell the truth. You understand? So that your heart is clean, that you don't have no conscience when it comes to that person saying, like, this guy or this girl is honest and tells me the truth. My conscience is clear. So that means that if you're going out with your guy and your guy accuses you of cheating, because you know your heart is clean and you wouldn't do that. You know you would never do that. Your conscience is clear. You are light. So no matter how much times he goes, oh, you've been cheating with me, I saw you down there, your conscience is clear. Yes, it does not penetrate you.
No.
What they say.
No.
But if you did cheat, and they did say that, it will penetrate you, and you'll be like, oh, what am I gonna do? I gotta cover it up. Now you're having this war within yourself, all because you're trying to protect this thing in the first place. So if you was honest,
just
you
release
would,
yourself.
you set you free. The truth will set you free.
Yeah.
You understand? So when you're being true to yourself and being true to your partner and true to your brethren and your sister, then it does set you free, because when you see them, it's boy, I done the brethren a wrong thing. I hope you don't find out that it was me. You understand what I'm saying? All these little things is what it's all talking about. So you have to have a clean heart to reach a Zion, right? From my point of view, a Zion is also a state of consciousness. Yeah,
Absolutely.
A higher consciousness. But you cannot get in there if you're a man that beat your baby mother, if you're a man that go on with certain negative things and cuss all about BC and all these things, and then you turn around and say Jah Rastafari and cuss some bad word. You know what I mean? You might think the words ain't nothing, but the higher you climb in the spiritual realm is the more subtle and more purer you have to become. Like His Majesty. Look how His Majesty rise up to such a level that his humbleness and the way he carries himself, you know, so that he's a man that is not like any ordinary man. You understand? And he's a man that teaches his children, whether you're wrong or whether you're right. If you're in an argument with somebody, you must be the first to say sorry, to set that standard. You understand? To say, all right, then you were the one that hit me, but I'm sorry we had the argument. I'm sorry for upsetting you, to make you do that. But people will say, no, she's the one that did it first. He hit me first. Or the other one did something first. It doesn't matter who did it first. The two of you are involved in that altercation. Now, if you say sorry for making that person angry, regardless, because if you didn't make that person angry, that person wouldn't have hit you. And you might say you haven't done nothing, but maybe the way you say things and your words and the way you portray, deliver your words can make somebody be angry. So His Majesty teaches us that we must be the first to apologize if there is an altercation of any kind.
But sometimes it's also, on a situation like that, it's also sometimes the other individual might not be in the mood to have a conversation. So when that conversation is delivered, because of where their energy is lying in the first place, it explodes into reacting in a manner which isn't appropriate.
But that's your fault, because you see, I'll give an example. I was dealing with this girl, and one time I had to go and check her and apologize, because in finding yourself and you analyze yourself and say, yo, brethren, that brother was good to me, or that sister did really help me out one time, and I haven't showed her no compassion, or I forget, not that you didn't want to, but you've been so busy, you forget to say thank you. You forget to say, you know what, you did treat them wrong at that time. So when it comes to your conscience to say, well, go through your catalogue of people and see how you treated them, and see if everything lines up to how you are, or who you say you are. Yeah, and if you say you are the son of the Most High, and if you say you are a child of Rastafari, and you deal with love and power and equal rights and justice and all these things, then you best check the people then that you've offended in your past before you can even hold up your hand like that. You understand? And get it right with them first.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand? Because you might try to get it right with them, and they might be so hurt. You'll be surprised, and then you'll be surprised, and they might turn around and say, why should I forgive you? Look how long it's been, 20 years, and now you want to come back and say sorry. Now you have a problem, because you planted that seed and you never directly chop it down before it grows. And that is grown in that person all their life, how you've treated them. So now you want to come and chop down the tree and make a fresh start because you find yourself. It don't work like that. Some of them trees you might not be able to chop down, and some of those people you might not turn around and forgive you. They might not, because you planted that seed in them and left it to rotten in them.
Well, see, the thing is, the most important aspect, I would say, is actually saying to the whether they want to forgive you or not, then that energy is transferred back to them, and you don't carry that because you've released yourself from that karma. But if they choose to stay in that position, it's them who is feeling the karmic effects of that energy. Because once you've asked for forgiveness and you've been honest with the person, you're not doing it for a motive, or there's no agenda, you're just being really real with the individual. If they don't want to forgive you, then it's for them. You know, somebody might forgive you but might not want to be there vibing with you again. They forgive, but they haven't forgotten. Right.
So that goes with the people where we was talking about earlier on, where there's some people that has been offended or hurt by a man or raped or anything what it can be, and I said I wouldn't do so, I will never forgive him, I will never, and all these kind of things. All right, that's your thing, but at the end of the day, that thing is in you.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say because it does depend on the level of pain or violation. Yeah, it does,
but you need to move on.
Yeah.
You understand? And I'm not saying, I can't speak for everybody because everybody's case is different. You understand what I'm saying? But if it comes to a point where you can say, you know what, you can forgive somebody and don't ever talk to them. You understand what I'm saying? So you're doing it for your benefit, for you to elevate spiritually. I have brethren out there that go on with some foolishness and them need some kick, you understand? But I will go and confront them, and within myself I forgive them, but I have to go and deal with them still, you know what I mean? I have to still go and reason with them and make them know, yo, while we are big man, we could deal with this thing like big man. You know what I mean? Instead of picnicking and hide and so, you know what I mean? And then once we clear the air, our conscience is free for us to move on separately or to move on together. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, you know, the clean hand thing, as long as you don't take no life with those hands, hurt nobody, box up nobody, stab nobody, kill nobody with your hands, then your hands is clean. There's no blood. You never shed no blood. Then all these things, you know what I mean, what you have to enter Zion, clean hand and a pure heart, to enter Zion, to enter the Christ consciousness. And even if you've killed somebody or you've done something wrong, you might feel that you're in this Christ consciousness, but you only feel that you're there. It's not as, you know, it's not, there's some stains there in your hands and in your heart, which is going to stop you from reaching, which we call like the Kabbalah. You see the Kabbalah, the Kabbalah. You can't get to that top of the Kabbalah. Yeah, you can't get to the top if your hands is dirty and if your heart is unclean. You can get up the Kabbalah tree, but you cannot. But only to a certain point. And although you might feel energy, you might be good spiritually, you might have some spiritual power or whatever, but you cannot get to that top until you've resolved those other issues. You understand?
Absolutely.
So the Kabbalah system is a good analysis of saying how you need to reach Zion.
Yeah.
But you can't get up that Kabbalah system with a carnal mind and with a dirty heart and dirty hand, and you treat people bad. You have to be a soldier out here, yes, and you have to be militant to a point, but you can be militant and still show love. Look at a king who runs a kingdom. Yeah. Yeah. He loves his people. You know what I mean? His Majesty loves his people. But when it comes to the war and the Italians come over there to deal with the thing, brethren, man, have to deal with the thing and stamp on two bomb and say, yo, this is what time it is. Yeah. You understand? And then after all the war's done, you go back and do what you got to do. So that's it, man. That's my little story. Done.
Yeah, I think it's true. I mean, like we're saying, it's unity is a part of self-love, loving oneself and cleaning up your heart,
and loving and trying to love others, because you see that this thing, you see like what's happened to our ancestors through slavery, and a lot of these people are benefiting from slavery up to this day. Yeah, can you find it in your heart to forgive them for what they have done to our ancestors? I put that question to you.
Okay, so I think you
have to be real, you know. Don't powder it up because of the conversation, you know, because someone...
I think a person can forgive, but not forget.
Yeah.
I don't think that ignorance is bliss. I think that you should be aware of the past and what has happened. And it's to choose where you decide to be open. You know, I always remember an elder saying to me, it's the state of a man's mind, not his appearance. So you have to, you know, you judge a man by the way his mind is. Where does that person's energy lie? Yeah, you can integrate with many different people, but assimilating to the point of no recognition is not really a positive progression. Self-love, if you love yourself, I'm not talking in an egotistical way, I mean actually genuinely caring about your own self-needs and self-worth, then once you are attentive to those, you will be able to have the space to be truly caring for others.
Yeah, caring for others. But it's good to good talk. Well, I say don't forget where you come from. Don't forget your history. Don't forget what your ancestors been through. You know what I mean? These things you must never forget. You must always remember these things. You know what I mean? Because there's people that we have to live amongst that they are indirectly not involved in the thing, but has benefited from the thing.
Yeah, right? Some of them are directly involved in this generation.
Yeah, some of them are, but some of them, their generations after them, some of them actually overstand what are going on and realize, you know what I mean, they think like us to a degree where they just want unity and peace and love. I've been to different countries and experienced different cultures and realize they're not you think. Some of them is not what we think they are.
Yeah, some people are not what you think they are. However, I do think it's very important not to get it twisted. Just because there's somebody likes you, there's a difference between liking you and actually being genuine with how you see the other person in your mind's eye and the group that they belong to. So it's, if for a person to be really genuine in how they are saying, oh, I'm all about one love. If you're all about one love, then why do you have sentiments in the deepest core of yourself which are negative stereotypes that do not fit with this I'm all about love?
Well, everybody talks about love when you go out there and when you go with other races.
But to be really, if we're going to be really real, if you cannot value where I come from as a group of people and you see me as secondary to you on any level, then you're not really telling the truth.
That's if you see them secondary. But I've experienced different cultures in different countries, and they treat me as equal.
Well, howdy and thank you break no bones. We know that from the Caribbean. Tourism's ripe there.
Yeah, I'm not worried about tourism. I'm talking about culture. People are brotherly, sisterly love and reasoning and the liberty. Some of them take on this Rastafari liberty, yeah, and learning as they go along how to become like how to live that way there. And they're learning every day how to live that way there. And in their learning, I've learned that they have shown I so much respect and love because they want to learn. Yeah. Now, that's going to benefit them and benefit us the more they know how to live, because a lot of the problem is because them boy and some of them people don't know how to live good. So we are here on the planet, the 144,000, to show the ones how to live good, how to live together amongst each other. That doesn't mean so we must be soft and no walk over. We come to teach. You understand?
Yeah,
or to live good amongst whether you're black, white, Indian.
We come to teach. I think when we look at our stance and where we are historically, we've taught and given the world an abundance of information, and at the cost of many of our ancestors' lives. So yes, we've given a lot of information, and it's still happening today. We've just taught people how to cane row for a start. So yes, it's continuing on, and we've been giving a lot. But do we give to the point where our well is dry and people have appropriated what we are to the point where they now claim that they are us?
Well, in some places, some people try to take... You see, they can claim all they want to claim. You know what I mean? But you can't beat the root. You understand? And as we say, I are the root.
Well, that's the respect,
you understand?
Then, you see.
And they know this, yeah? So you have to respect the root. You understand?
So that's why I'm saying... yes, it's all good and well that we say we're all about love and so on, but if you don't have love for yourself, you can't love or respect others. That means you will be just going around taking and grabbing all around the world instead of actually sharing. You're a taker. So instead of being a taker, share.
It's not... There is some people that I know, yeah, that don't know how to love. Yeah,
and that's why they're just grabbing. Just
they try.
taking.
No, they try. They think that they love. They think that they are Rasta. They think they're living, but they're trying. But they're learning along the way. But some people, I've known some people who don't know. They want to love, but they just don't know how. They don't know how to do it.
Well, because I think
And
within Rasta,
it has to be within you.
Yeah, it does have to be within you. And I think one of the things about Rasta is that we have a lot of people coming into Rasta that are just about the locks, just about smoking, just about putting on some garments, but they're not really looking at the main thing, which is about your heart and your consciousness. And also
black liberation.
Absolutely, that's the main core. So when you're talking about foreigners saying, oh, we love and Jah Rastafari and so on, how are you moving towards or working with the root community of the entire movement to progress towards black emancipation?
That's where we now, what you're saying, like some people come and they take the thing and run away with it.
Yeah, but
right?
how?
Yeah, because you see, you got
that means you're taking from somebody for a motive. If you're genuine, you would be taking a stance against anything that is to do with oppression towards this group of people.
Right, there is some
structurally, economically, and politically.
Right, I agree that this old thing of Rastafari, from I'm growing up, is for us to forward back home. Yeah. Now you have the whole world, all different nations on the planet are here at Rastafari, but how much of them is turning around for the cause of, you know what I mean, we have to repatriate too and help make the thing happen. You know what I mean? How much of them is for that part of it? You know, this is the question. They're all right for the music, and they're jumping up and dancing, and they reggae music, Jah Rastafari, Bob Marley. But when we come about liberation and returning back home, and well, I'm to that part of it.
Yeah, because it doesn't. You see, if you are not something, the agenda of that thing is nil and void to you.
But on my journey, I have met some people from Spain, from Italy, from different parts of the world that actually send things to Ethiopia and send clothes and books and help schools and build little things. Yeah, so I know of them because I've been...
Yeah, but Oxfam does the same.
Yeah, but that's Oxfam. I'm talking about people who are coming up in Rastafari of a different culture. The same people, some of us who are saying, oh, them I turn around and them I say them are Rasta. What them I do for Rasta? What them I do for Ethiopia? The same conversation we're having about liberation. I have seen some of them. They're not dealing with the liberation thing, but they all understand the struggle to a point. You know what I mean? They understand the struggle.
They don't understand the struggle because you can't, maybe to a point, in understanding what oppression is. But if I've had sex, I don't know what being raped is. That's quite different.
Yeah. You've got a point there that is different, but at the same time, you cannot... They're beginning to understand the struggle. They will not know, right?
They know what it is to be bullied, and they know what it is to be marginalised. It happens within their workplaces very often. So there is a degree of being evasive when it comes to these issues. Now, if we're dealing with truths and rights, especially within Rastafari, we have to be truthful and right. Therefore, one of the stances of Rastafari is black emancipation and black progress. You can't get away from it. It's part of it.
Yes.
So if you have joined Rastafari and you want to ignore that part, you're ignoring... Why have you joined it then? Because it's part of the root.
That's the thing. So... You know what I mean? As you said that part there, which is something that a lot of people are trying to
avoid.
Yeah, they're avoiding the liberation and
because they're always going off this song, Bob Marley's song. Oh, one love, let's be together and feel all. Yeah, we can be together and feel all right, but not at the expense of me having to shift my position in order to make you feel comfortable. You're not shifting yours.
Well, some is doing certain things, yeah. As I said, until you go out there and see for yourself, you can talk. Yeah. But I have seen for myself. I have been amongst Irish Rasta who live in an island in the mountains. Them man, they don't come down from the mountains. I'm talking about European,
but doing
white
copying
Irish Rasta man, which they're not. It's whether they copy or not. They're living a lifestyle that is as natural as possible to them. Yeah.
But you see, within European culture, being a hippie, I'm not saying that Rastafari is a hippie, but in their culture, they consider being close to nature and all this lot, having a hippie lifestyle. That's quite different from what we're trying to achieve.
But we still got to go back to the main thing, which is the love factor. We say, love thy neighbour as thyself.
But the neighbour.
But those people, regardless of another culture, they're still your neighbour.
Yeah, they're still your neighbour.
You understand? So how are you gonna love your neighbour as thyself if your neighbour is part of what's happened to you? Yeah. So you have to get around that, because no matter how it goes, you're still gonna have to love your brethren. You understand? That's why I said when they say love thy neighbour as thyself, I'm saying to you, treat that person how you want them to treat you.
Absolutely.
That is it.
Yeah.
Yes, and because if you're going to show them too much love, you know what I mean, you can't show a person the amount of love that you have for yourself. I don't think, unless it's your partner or your mother or your father.
Of course, you have to have boundaries.
But there is boundaries outside of your bloodline or your family, where they, say, well, that is a different love, which is love thy neighbor as thyself. Treat me how I want you to, how you want me to treat you, how vice versa. But in family love, I don't care how you treat me. You're my sister. Yes, that you could cuss me and call me all the dumpling under the sun.
Wait till after this show, I'll cuss you.
I know, I'm used to it now. But you see, you're my sister, so that love is always there, regardless of what you do. Sisters and brothers fight.
Yeah.
You understand? Physically, fist to fist. But the next day or the week after, the love overrides everything.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's what we have. You understand? So we need to make other people understand what love is. You know what I mean? If you're fussing your fight, you still have to unite, regardless if you're black or you're white. You understand? So that's how it goes. So that's my talk on the thing.
Yeah, I don't just think it's a black-white issue. It's a global issue of how people see our particular group, our nation, and it's, you know, the more we operate in love, the more that they'll have to feel quite foolish in those sentiments, because we all know that a lot of those stereotypes are incorrect. And a lot of the legal things that are in place, for example, repatriations and
all them thing there. You see, all them thing there is like, well, on the Rasta have so much power, as a movement. If you call it a movement, a religion, or whatever you want to call it, them have so much power and is not using it. You understand what I'm saying? They're not using it. You understand? That's how I see it. You know what I mean? And once there is unity, then all things will come together.
Have less judgments within any of our cultural
and
groups.
we're getting there now. So just in a matter of couple years' time, maybe 3 years tops, you will actually see the separation. You will, but I see it already because I've been there from the generation before where I see where there was just segregation. Where we had to stick together, you know, start saying.
But, and we had to, because of the this environment was very hostile. So we did bind together due to the hostile.
And we was all right, and we was doing well.
Fine,
We was buying houses, we was buying shops, we was buying cars, we was doing everything.
But it's when we started to put the slippers on. That
and the
somebody
educational
else's
system.
slippers that didn't
but we
belong
learned
to
that
us.
from school. The school told us and taught us that we don't have to be like how our parents taught us. You can be like us.
Yes.
And learn our history. And then when you finish school, you can work for us. And you can go in a job and work for us. And you can be a doctor. You can be a lawyer. You can do anything you want to work for us. You know what I mean? No one taught us at school, when you leave school, you need to set up your own business, you know. You run your own company. You understand? Make something of your own. Design something. Create something and sell it. They don't teach us to be self-sufficient. They teach us at school to work for the system. See, when it's not supposed to be like that.
Yeah, because I remember a time when most of our elders had quite a few skill sets, not just academic skills. They also had manual skills, so they were good at sewing.
We used to buy clothes.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember this, but we never went clothes shop. When we're going out, we used to get all our suits tailor-made.
Tailor-made,
and we used to have a man or a woman that make clothes
in
the
community.
Go there, and we go there and we get fitted up, and we all buy our suits and things from that man. You know what I mean? The women them always buy their crocheting from this woman. You understand? And you buy all your breads from that man. And then now everything's been infiltrated, and the Indian man them have everything that we got to buy. Go there and buy our things from the Indian man and so forth.
It's good to see that within London, and even I can vouch for areas like Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, we're starting to see businesses coming up where families or individuals or like partnerships, they're actually starting to crop up. You know, we've got the wonderful Cafe Nubia that's down in Manchester, and it's such a great community hub. When I say community, it isn't just our community that frequents the place. It's a business, so it's supported by its entire demographic.
So all different cultures go to this place?
Yeah, but predominantly you will always find our people there because it's geared towards our community, no different to having a community hub right there on Stroud Green Road that is a Turkish shop. No different down the road, you can find a Mexican shop with the same sort of thing. It's a community hub. There's also an Italian shop. So having one for our people, I can't really see the problem if there are there for others.
It's going to step up. It's going to step up. And as I said, I can just talk from my own point of view and from what I've experienced. I used to think a certain way until I went out there and see something totally different to what I thought and to what I was taught. Yeah, about different races on the planet and about my planet, my people. When I go out there and live amongst them, I see a totally different thing. You understand? And I've been treated with the utmost respect. Personally, from where I've been, there's only one place I've been where they use them disrespect. You understand? And I went there twice.
Well,
the second time they didn't disrespect. I make sure that never happened. But the first time,
it's also about which culture within other communities, other nations that you go to. So each of the different nations have a variety of cultures in them. Look at Africa. It's a continent. It has a diaspora. Asia also has a diaspora. So does China. So does Europe. So within all these places, like, we can see the cultural differences amongst ourselves. There are cultural differences and psychologies of thinking.
Africa, as I said, Africa's a big place. Look how much different cultures there is.
Yeah, but we're one nation.
You're one nation, but there's so much different varieties of cultures on that one country alone. If these people were divided and went all different parts of the world, which has happened, we'll explain why these people are totally different from these people, because on the land that they all came from, they were different as well. So we're always going to be different, but we can still live on the same land.
Yes.
You understand? We can still get along. You understand? We can still live in love and unity amongst one another.
In peace,
really. Peace. Yeah, we can do that. That's happening now. Yeah. You know what I mean? There isn't got no choice. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? So as with the conversation, today's debate was about
unity.
UNITY. Yes. And it's there. You understand? So the little talk that we have is a bit about the journey as well. You know what I mean? And I was one of them man that been through the journey and seen that the Windrush people come and go, and see a next generation come and go, and the next generation come and go, and now the generation that's left there are European, where I'm talking about, like, of our culture, our people, has been totally European mindset.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where things are starting to change, because they've forgotten their African culture, and they've forgotten the struggles of their ancestors and their parents, and they think your ancestors are, oh, my ancestors, oh, you're talking about 100 years ago from slavery. No, I'm talking about from your grandparents.
Your elders are in the community.
So you tell these young people about ancestors, they're thinking about slavery. They're not thinking about granny or granddad or great granny, just the next. That's your ancestors.
And that's one of the subjects I'm going to talk about, the elders and the ancestors. So, you know, there's many elders, we will expand on another show, that are in the community that are in the community that are isolated and are vulnerable. And, you know, it's about time that we started to implement some of our traditions of, you know, all working together to make sure that our elders are safe, our children are looked after and cared for,
and that's
and
what His Majesty says.
Yes.
Look after the sick, the poor, the elderly, you know what I mean, and the infants.
Yes.
You see, this is part of the liberty of Rastafari. And once you get other races doing the same thing, that's a start.
Yes.
And that's what's happening.
A step in the right direction.
Yeah. And that's what I've seen in the countries that I've been to and the people that I've worked with. What I Mitri, Vibranix and all the man them, what I Sevi from Rototom and Leon from Rototom and all these people that I've worked with and been around, I have seen these things coming into play, so I can talk it because it's actually things have changed in it. Yeah. It's not like in my father's generation or my grandfather's generation, it was a bit more intense. But now the unity is coming. You know what I mean? It's there. You know what I mean? And what's joining us together also is the reggae music as well. Music is uniting us and bringing us together.
Yeah. I mean, this is fantastic and it's a move forward. The only thing that I would say is that the root of reggae music needs to stay intact in order for that vibration to really reach people.
You can't get rid of the roots. You can't.
No, but you know, like within some of the people who've taken on board playing and copying this type of music, you know, for general, they like it. So they're changing it, you know, making it more electronic or making it this or making it that. I mean, it's good to try different things. However, when you've changed it to the point where you can't actually recognize it as reggae music.
Yeah, well, they're changing it, but you remember this, you still got the soldiers out there making people remember the root of the thing. And a man like Shaka, and then man, they're making you know
who
that
are important.
that they're still holding on to the root of the thing. There's so many sound systems out there that's holding on to the root of the thing. I say Shaka, yes, because Shaka has been out there for one of the longest times still. You know what I mean? And he hasn't changed his format. So
actually, Shaka, Abashanti,
there's so much sound systems that's come up after Shaka. You know what I mean? But those other sounds that's come up is from the root. They're extensions of the root. So these are the branches.
Yes.
You understand? I'm saying not Shaka is not the only root, but one of the roots. Yeah. But then you have the branches that come off, which is like the Abashanti and the Iration steppers and all those other sounds. Those are the branches that was inspired by these roots. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So when you have the European coming in and taking up the culture of Rastafari, you can't forget the root. You cannot run from the root. Without the root, it's nothing.
Well, you see, the root is a little bit like the same subject that is being avoided. So the subject of black emancipation and black liberty within the structure of Rastafari, the root is also ignored in the same way. When it's for those who ignore the root, you see, this is about having power and control over something else. But not everybody's like that.
Yeah, but don't you think, it's for us to keep sending that message out there
of what the real deal
what
is.
What the root is.
Yes.
Don't forget the root. If we sit down and keep quiet, then things will change.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But if we make a joyful noise unto the Most High, then people will always remember the root. So what's happened now, you're finding that a lot of promoters and sound system and artists are now looking for the old reggae artists now.
Yeah.
You're getting the old Johnny Clark and the big youth them and all them, man, they're people looking for them to do work now, because those man them are the roots.
Yes.
You understand?
And the roots needs to stay intact.
Right.
You see, when the foundation is built on solid rock, which is the root.
Burning Spear, Bob Marley, and people are Burning Spear, all them man, they're getting big tour all over the world. So when you go out there and you see that the root is still out there, people know the root of the thing. Yeah, in France, they have colleges and universities teaching their students at college about reggae music. You can go to France and enroll in a course about reggae music.
And do they get the vibration right? Because theirs
they
is very,
they got
very
it right.
electronic.
No. You think
not across the board.
You think that they're electronic, but they're not no more. You understand?
Oh, they've changed now.
There was not even change. They've learnt the art now of playing music that sometimes you don't even know the difference unless you are. It's like, it's different now, it's changed. But you can tell by the sound of the tune where it come from.
Yeah, you can.
You understand what I'm saying? You can feel it. So now you have to close your eyes and listen to the music.
Because
and you can feel where it's coming from.
Because one aspect that we can't avoid is that when people play music or produce music, the energy of the individual, including their ancestors as a vibration, goes into that sound, and that's why you can tell the difference.
Right. It's the root. You're connected to the root.
Absolutely.
You understand? So I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, because we said quite a few things. Right? And I just say, I says just blessed love to the sisters and brethren all over the world. I hope you've learned something from this conversation, because the conversation is there to teach us that unity is definitely the key, and unity is happening right now. And there's some things that's going on in the world that a lot of people don't know about, but what they do need to know is that this unity is a must. This gathering of the kings and queens, is a must. You know, it's happening, and it's gonna keep on happening, and it's just gonna get stronger and stronger and stronger until the vibration of the earth changes. And then when the vibration of the earth changes, everything changes. Well, true man, I'll be a war upon the television and be a war everywhere. Everywhere upon the news is be a war, or the computer games is be a war. But it's that got done, and it's gonna change. You know what I mean? It's going to change. I know it's going to change. You know what I mean? It's changing already, but a lot of people haven't found out and done their research of what is changing on the planet and what is changing in the universe and how it affects us today as a people. Not a black, white people, but as a race of human beings on the earth. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
yes.
we are the roots.
Yeah.
We are the roots.
Yeah, and that vibration has to be made clear once more. I want to say thank you to all the listeners who've lent us their ears for the past couple of hours. I'm quite over the time of the show. And you can catch up for those of you who joined midway through on www.blessradio.org or Bless Radio 1 via YouTube, where you can see some of our other shows. Some of mine are up there and others from the Bless family. So have a fantastic week. Oh, Auntie Jean's Cultural Market is being held on Sunday, Loughborough Road in Brixton. Fantastic market. Please go and support those who can get down there. And have a blessed weekend and see you the same time next week. So blessed love, everyone. Have a great night.
Well, this one is a musical remedy, you know. Music to set you free. Musical liberty, you know. For each and everybody. Compensate type
For those of you that are not down with this type of music, we apologize. Now, deal with it.
Jaja music is the key. Jaja music is the key. Jaja music is the key to set us free. We got to stand up and fight. Till we're talking about truth and life. We got to stand up and fight and set your soul free. Jaja music is the key. Jaja music is the key. But the Rasta we are.
This is the remix, you know.
Say we're taking a stand. Say the stand for freedom. Everyone, you must be counted. In Jabba, you will be anointed. Pointed to the right direction.
Let me say them, burn up them. Yeah, what's up, people know? I want the undone promoter to get free pass to come in and dance. So them little thing them burn up. See the man them know. We are gonna dance, the trust lick and I walk out, I dance, go dance, out and clear them bill right now. Me and me promote here.
You're in tune to Bless Radio.
Cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah. I Stephen Marley. Bless FM radio, play good.